When I threw a birthday party for my 6-year-old son and not a single child showed up, I thought it was just cruel coincidence. But days later, a text message from my own mother revealed a betrayal so deep it would fracture my family forever. What she confessed made me question everything. I thought I knew about the people closest to me and forced me to make the hardest decision of my life. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss incredible stories of revenge, justice, and personal redemption. Every day, we publish new stories of people who transformed pain into triumph. Hit that notification bell. My name is Rebecca Mitchell, and I'm 32 years old, living in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon, where the rain falls like a constant reminder that life doesn't always go according to plan. The day my son turned 6 should have been filled with laughter, cake, and the chaos of children running wild through our backyard. Instead, it became the day I realized that betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people you trust most. It started 3 weeks before Ethan's birthday. He'd been talking about his party nonstop since August ended and first grade began. Every night at dinner, he'd recite the list of friends he wanted to invite, his small face glowing with excitement as he counted on his fingers. Mason, Tyler, Sophie, Emma, Lucas. The list went on, each name precious to him, each friendship a bright spot in his world. I'd spent weeks planning everything. I ordered superhero-themed invitations with Ethan's favorite characters emblazoned across the front. We addressed 30 of them together at our kitchen table, Ethan carefully writing his name in wobbly letters while I filled in the details. The party would be at our house on Saturday, October 14th, from 2 to 5 p.m. RSVP by October 7th. I even included my cell number and email address to make it easy for parents to respond. The invitations went out the first week of October. I handed them personally to Ethan's teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, who promised to distribute them during afternoon announcements. Some I tucked into backpacks myself during pickup, smiling at other mothers as I explained how excited Ethan was about his party. Everyone seemed receptive, warm even. "Oh, how sweet," they'd say. "We'll definitely try to make it." But as the RSVP deadline approached, my phone stayed silent. Not a single text. Not one email. I checked my spam folder obsessively, wondering if messages had gotten lost somehow. Nothing. By October 8th, the day after the deadline, I'd received 0 responses. I tried not to panic. Maybe people were just busy, I told myself. Maybe they'd forgotten to respond but would still show up. It happened, right? Modern parents were overwhelmed, juggling work and kids and 1,000 other obligations. I'd give them the benefit of the doubt. Still, anxiety gnawed at me. I mentioned it to my husband, David, while we were getting ready for bed that night. The rain pattered against our bedroom window, a soothing sound that did nothing to calm my nerves. "Nobody's RSVP'd yet," I said, pulling back the covers. "Not a single person." David looked up from his phone, his brow furrowing. "That's weird. You gave them plenty of notice." "I know." I sat on the edge of the bed, wringing my hands. "What if nobody comes? Ethan will be devastated." "Don't think like that," David said, setting his phone aside and reaching for my hand. "Kids' parties are chaotic. Half the time parents don't respond but show up anyway. It'll be fine." I wanted to believe him. I really did. But something felt off, like a chord struck slightly out of tune. Still, I pushed the feeling aside and focused on the party preparations. I ordered a custom cake from the bakery downtown, vanilla with buttercream frosting, decorated to look like a superhero cityscape. I bought party favors, rented a bounce house, and filled our garage with games and activities. If people were going to show up, I wanted everything to be perfect. The morning of October 14th arrived with typical Oregon gloom, gray skies, and a persistent drizzle that blurred the edges of our neighborhood. I woke up early, my stomach tight with nervous energy. David and I spent the morning transforming our backyard into a party wonderland. We hung streamers, set up tables, inflated balloons until our lungs ached. The bounce house company arrived at noon and set up the massive inflatable castle in the center of our lawn, its bright colors a cheerful contrast to the dreary weather. By 1:30, everything was ready. The cake sat on the kitchen counter, a masterpiece of sugar and fondant. Goodie bags lined the entryway table, each one stuffed with candy, stickers, and small toys. The snack table overflowed with pizza, fruit, chips, and juice boxes. I'd even set up a craft station where kids could decorate their own superhero masks. Ethan came downstairs at 1:45, dressed in his favorite Spider-Man shirt and new sneakers. His hair stuck up in the back no matter how many times I tried to smooth it down, and his smile stretched so wide it made my heart ache. "Is it time yet, Mom?" he asked, bouncing on his toes. "Are my friends here?" "Not yet, buddy," I said, crouching down to his level. "But they'll be here soon. Why don't we wait outside so we can greet everyone as they arrive?" We stood on the front porch, Ethan practically vibrating with excitement. David joined us, his arm around my shoulders. 2 o'clock came and went. Then 2:15. Then 2:30, nobody came. Ethan's smile started to falter around 2:45. He kept looking up and down the street, his small face confused. "Where is everyone?" he asked, his voice small. "I'm sure they're just running late," I said, though my own voice wavered. I pulled out my phone and started texting the mothers I had numbers for. "Hey, just checking if you're still planning to come to Ethan's party? No pressure, just want to make sure we have enough pizza." I sent 7 messages. Not one person responded. By 3 o'clock, the reality was undeniable. Nobody was coming. Not Mason or Tyler, not Sophie or Emma, not Lucas or any of the other 25 children Ethan had so carefully invited. The bounce house sat empty. The pizza grew cold, and my son's face crumpled with a devastation that made me want to scream. "Did I do something wrong?" Ethan whispered, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Why doesn't anyone want to come to my party?" I pulled him into my arms, holding him so tight I was afraid I might break him. "No, baby. You didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes people are just busy. It's not about you." But I didn't believe my own words, and from the way Ethan's small body shook with sobs, I knew he didn't either. David made phone calls while I held our son. His voice grew sharper with each unanswered ring, each voicemail box that wouldn't accept messages. "What the hell is going on?" he muttered, pacing the living room. "This isn't normal. 30 kids and not one shows up?" We tried to salvage the day. We invited Ethan's younger cousin Lily, who lived nearby. My sister Amanda came over with her daughter, and together we attempted to create the party atmosphere Ethan had been dreaming about. He jumped in the bounce house with Lily, ate cake, opened the few presents we'd bought him ourselves. But the joy was forced, performative. Everyone could feel the wrongness of it all. That night, after Ethan finally fell asleep, exhausted from crying, I sat in the dark kitchen and let myself cry too. David found me there, my face buried in my hands, shoulders shaking with the kind of grief that comes from watching your child's heart break and being powerless to stop it. "We'll figure out what happened," he promised, wrapping his arms around me from behind. "And whoever did this is going to answer for it." The next few days were a blur of awkward conversations and dead ends. I tried approaching other mothers at school pickup, but they avoided eye contact, hurrying to their cars with mumbled excuses. Mrs. Rodriguez, Ethan's teacher, seemed genuinely confused when I asked if she'd noticed anything unusual. "Ethan's a sweet boy," she said gently. "He plays well with others. I haven't seen any bullying or exclusion in class." "Then why didn't anyone come to his party?" I asked, hearing the desperation in my own voice. She didn't have an answer. I spent hours replaying every interaction I'd had with other parents over the past year, searching for some offense I might have committed unknowingly. Had I said something rude? Forgotten someone's name? But nothing stood out. I'd been friendly, helpful even. I'd volunteered for class parties, donated supplies, participated in school fundraisers. What had I done to deserve this? And you? What would you do if your child was excluded like this? Would you confront the other parents, or would you try to move on? On the 4th day after the party, Wednesday, October 18th, my phone buzzed with a text message while I was making lunch. I glanced at the screen and saw my mother's name. My stomach dropped before I even read the words. The message was short, but it contained enough power to shatter my entire world. "Rebecca, I need to tell you something. I can't live with this guilt anymore. I told the other mothers not to bring their kids to Ethan's party. I said you were having financial problems and it was a pity party, that you'd make everyone feel uncomfortable asking for help. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting you." I read the message 3 times, each word sinking in like shards of glass. My mother, my own mother, had sabotaged my son's birthday party. She'd lied to an entire community, spread false rumors about our family, and deliberately ensured that Ethan would spend his 6th birthday crying on the front porch. My hands started shaking so violently I nearly dropped the phone. A sound escaped my throat. Something between a gasp and a scream. David rushed into the kitchen, alarm written across his face. What? What happened? I couldn't speak. I just handed him the phone. His expression shifted from confusion to horror to rage in the space of seconds. What the fuck? He breathed. What the actual fuck? I sank into a kitchen chair, my legs unable to support me anymore. She did this. My own mother did this to Ethan. The next hour passed in a haze. David wanted to call her immediately to scream and demand answers, but I stopped him. I needed time to process, to understand. More texts arrived from my mother, each one more desperate than the last. Please call me. I need to explain. I was trying to help. You've seemed so stressed, Rebecca, please. I'm your mother. Talk to me. I stared at the messages, a cold numbness spreading through my chest. Protecting me? Helping me? By destroying my child's birthday? By humiliating our entire family? That evening, after Ethan was asleep, I finally called her. My father answered, his voice careful, like he was walking through a minefield. Rebecca, honey, your mother told me what she did. She's devastated. Put her on, I said flatly. There was a pause, some muffled conversation. Then my mother's voice, thick with tears. Rebecca, I'm so sorry. Why? It wasn't a question. It was a demand. I was worried about you, she said, her words tumbling out in a rush. You've seemed overwhelmed lately, working so much, and David's been traveling, and I thought maybe you were struggling financially but too proud to ask for help. I didn't want you to throw this big party and feel embarrassed if you couldn't afford it, so I told a few mothers that maybe it would be better if they didn't come, that you were going through a hard time, and you told them what? I interrupted, my voice rising. You spread lies about our family? Made people think we were destitute? And you think that was helping? I thought I was saving you from embarrassment. She cried. I didn't think everyone would actually listen to me. I thought maybe a few people wouldn't come, and you could have a smaller party, something more manageable. Nobody came, Mom. I was shouting now, months of stress and confusion and helplessness exploding out of me. Not a single child. Do you have any idea what that did to Ethan? He cried himself to sleep thinking he did something wrong, thinking his friends hated him. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, I didn't mean for that to happen, but it did happen. Because of you. Because you couldn't mind your own business. Because you assumed you knew better than me about my life, my family, my son. Rebecca, please. Do you know what the worst part is? I continued, my voice breaking. It's that I trusted you. I called you during the party, crying, asking if you knew why nobody came. And you said nothing. You comforted me while knowing you caused it. What kind of person does that? My mother was sobbing now, ugly choking sounds that might have moved me once but now only made me angrier. I panicked. I didn't know how to fix it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, I said coldly. Sorry doesn't give Ethan back his birthday. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that my own mother sabotaged my child. What can I do? She begged. Tell me how to make this right. I looked around our kitchen, at the leftover party decorations still piled in the corner, at the uneaten cake still sitting in the fridge. I thought about Ethan's small, sad face, about the way his excitement had been crushed into confusion and pain. I don't know if you can, I said finally. I need time. Don't call me. Don't text. Don't come to the house. When I'm ready to talk, I'll reach out. But right now, I can't even look at you. I hung up before she could respond. The aftermath was complicated. I had to tell Ethan some version of the truth, that there had been a misunderstanding, that Grandma had made a mistake and accidentally told people the wrong information about his party. He didn't fully understand, but he understood enough to be confused and hurt that his grandmother would do something to ruin his special day. David wanted to cut my parents off completely. She doesn't get access to our son after this, he said firmly. I don't care if she's your mother. She hurt our child, part of me agreed. But part of me, the part that remembered my mother braiding my hair as a child, teaching me to bake, holding me through breakups and disappointments, couldn't completely let go. I did what I had to do. I sent an email to all the parents in Ethan's class, explaining that there had been false information spread about our family, that we were financially stable, and that the exclusion of their children from the party had been based on lies. Some responded with apologies, shocked that they'd been manipulated. Others never replied, and I wondered if the damage to our reputation was permanent. Mrs. Rodriguez organized a small celebration in Ethan's classroom the following week. Cupcakes and a group card signed by all his classmates. It helped a little. Ethan smiled more, played more easily with the other kids. But something had changed in him. He was more cautious now, less quick to trust that good things would happen. I threw another party for Ethan 6 weeks later, smaller and more intimate. This time, 10 kids showed up. We went to a trampoline park, ate pizza, laughed. It wasn't the party Ethan had originally wanted, but it was something. He seemed happy, and that had to be enough. As for my mother, we didn't speak for 3 months. She sent letters, actual handwritten letters, apologizing, explaining, begging for forgiveness. My father called occasionally, careful and diplomatic, asking if there was anything he could do. I appreciated his position, caught between his wife and his daughter, but I wasn't ready to bridge the gap. The breakthrough came on Christmas Eve. My sister Amanda invited us all to her house, and after some deliberation, David and I agreed to go. When I walked in and saw my mother standing in the living room, she looked smaller somehow, diminished. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her face drawn. We didn't hug. We didn't exchange pleasantries. But we were in the same room, and that was a start. Later that night, after dinner and presents, my mother approached me in the kitchen where I was helping Amanda with dishes. "Rebecca," she said quietly, "can we talk?" I dried my hands on a towel, studying her face. "Okay." We went out onto Amanda's back porch, the cold December air biting against our skin. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. "I don't know how to fix what I broke," she finally said. "I've replayed that day 1,000 times in my head, trying to understand why I did it. I think I was trying to control something I couldn't control. You've always been so independent, so capable. And I felt useless, like I couldn't help you anymore. So when I saw you stressed about this party, I convinced myself I was protecting you. But really, I was just inserting myself where I didn't belong. I listened, my arms wrapped around myself against the cold. You hurt my son, Mom, you hurt me. And the worst part is you did it thinking you knew better than I did about my own life." "I know," she whispered. "And I will regret it for the rest of my life." "Ethan asked me last week if Grandma still loves him," I said, my voice catching. "He thinks he did something wrong to make you not want him to have a good birthday." My mother's face crumpled. "Oh God, Rebecca, please let me talk to him." "Let me explain." "Not yet," I said firmly. "You don't get to fix this with a conversation. You have to earn back his trust." "And mine," she nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I understand. I'll wait, however long it takes." We stood there in the cold for a few more minutes, and when we went back inside, something had shifted. Not forgiveness exactly, not yet. But maybe the beginning of a path toward it. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss incredible stories of revenge, justice, and personal redemption. Every day we publish new stories of people who transformed pain into triumph. Hit that notification bell. It's been 8 months now since Ethan's 6th birthday party. He's 7 now, more confident, more resilient. We threw him a party this year at a local arcade, and 18 kids came. He was radiant with joy, and I stood in the corner watching him laugh with his friends, feeling a complex mixture of relief and residual pain. My relationship with my mother is slowly healing. She comes to dinner once a month, always bringing something for Ethan. A book, a small toy, a card with a handwritten note. She's careful now, respectful of boundaries, asking before offering advice. It's different than it was before, but maybe that's not entirely bad. Maybe we both needed to learn these lessons. The experience changed me. I'm more cautious about who I trust, more protective of my family's privacy. But I'm also more aware of my own strength, my ability to navigate betrayal and rebuild what was broken. Ethan still talks about that day sometimes. "Remember when nobody came to my party?" He'll say, usually when something else disappoints him. And I always respond the same way. "I remember. And I remember how strong you were, how you didn't let it break you." Because that's the truth I want him to carry forward. Not that people will always show up, not that family will never hurt you, but that you can survive the worst disappointments, the deepest betrayals, and still find reasons to smile, to trust, to celebrate. The lesson I learned, the one I'm still learning, is that love and pain often come from the same people. That forgiveness isn't about forgetting or excusing, but about choosing not to let the past poison your future. My mother made a terrible mistake, one that caused real harm. But She's also the woman who raised me, who taught me resilience even when she was the one testing it. Life doesn't offer clean resolutions. There's no moment where everything is suddenly fixed, where all the hurt disappears. But there are small moments of grace. Ethan hugging his grandmother carefully at Christmas. My mother asking permission before offering to help with something. David and I talking late at night about how we've grown through this crisis. As I write this, I can hear Ethan in the backyard laughing with David as they set up the sprinkler. The Oregon rain has finally given way to summer sunshine, and our yard is green and alive. In a few weeks, we'll have a barbecue. Nothing fancy, just close friends and family who've proven they deserve to be there, and my mother will come. She'll bring potato salad and help set up tables. She'll be careful and kind and still carrying guilt she'll probably never fully release. But she'll be there, and that means something, because at the end of the day, this story isn't really about a ruined birthday party. It's about the messy, complicated reality of family. It's about the ways we hurt each other, intentionally and not. It's about the long, difficult work of rebuilding trust after it's been shattered. If there's one thing I want people to take from my story, it's this. You're allowed to be angry when someone hurts you, even if, especially if, that someone is family. You're allowed to set boundaries, to demand better, to walk away when you need to. But you're also allowed to forgive, if and when that feels right. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Ethan is calling for me now, wanting me to come outside and play. So I'm going to close this chapter and step into the sunshine, grateful for the hard lessons that taught me who I am. Grateful for the sun who shows me every day what resilience looks like. And grateful, in a complicated way, for the broken birthday party that forced my family to finally be honest with each other. Because sometimes the worst days lead to the most important transformations. Sometimes you have to watch everything fall apart before you can build it back better. And sometimes, just sometimes, the people who hurt you the most are the ones who teach you how strong you really are.